Welcome back to another daily reflection on the Daily Vedantic. Today's episode is on the concept of love. Speaking of love, I love the Vedantic definition of love, which is seeing no otherness in the world. It's all about identification. And as our teacher, Swami Parthasarathi, will talk about, he'll say this 1,000 times, that it's all about cultivating an expansion, an increasing radius of identification with the world around you. Love yourself, love your family. Then if you can, move to love your community. If you can, move to love your state, your country, all humans. Go even further. Love all living beings. Go even further. And true love is seeing no otherness in the world. That can be applied directly to your child, where you see them as an extension of yourself. You identify with them. Somewhat clinical definition is so helpful because it is very different than attachment. Very different than the way we talk about love, where it is an infatuation. I love this woman, I love this man, I want to marry this person, where that is preferential attachment, where you feel incomplete without them. Or you want to marry them like you want to consume a donut. The Greeks will talk about the difference between eros and erotic love and agapic love that Christ talked about, which is loving in order to develop that person, that being, into what it's capable of. Like we should love a child, where it's not to consume them, which we know too many parents that do that, where it is for what they can do for you. They're going to live out your dreams. You know, it's the parent that's going crazy on the side of the soccer field or the basketball court because that kid is a reflection of who they are to the community, or could achieve their dreams that they weren't able to, versus how you would identify with your right hand, how you'd identify with your neck, where you're just like, this is a great thing to have around. A neck, a right hand. I'm not fawning over it. I'm not thinking, what will you do for me? I'm identifying with it. You are me. That identification, that cultivation of that identification, even if it's just for your child to start with, you're going to have a healthier relationship with them, and they're going to be able to develop into who they're supposed to be instead of under some thumb that you have and under some identity that you want them to become. This episode is partially about I love that definition of love. It's also just as much about how love gets distorted into preferential attachment. In fact, that language is straight from Vedanta treatise, so I'm going to read you a little bit about how it talks about love directly from the book itself. The concept of love has been totally distorted. What people call as love is far from true love. What the world understands as love is personal preferential attachment. Attachment binds you, makes you dependent upon the object or being of your attachment, leads to your downfall. Little wonder people say, you have fallen in love. You must give up this clinging, selfish, personal attachment, which passes off as love, and develop the true form of love. A perfect human being is all love. The three practices within Vedanta are to question everything, to not take anything for granted, some good fortune or good crisis, and to study, reflect daily. But in that first principle of questioning everything, the things and people that you think that you love, it's time well spent to ask yourself, do I identify with their well-being, with their development, with who they are and who they can become? Or am I attached, bound to what they can do for me, how they make me feel, conditionally loving them as long as they make you feel a certain way? And if your love is conditional or based on how it makes you feel, then in the Vedantic sense, it's not love. It's just attachment. Love is seeing no otherness in the world. That's today's daily reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.